Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Honey Badger's channel, a premier silver-focused growth company in the midst of a commodity boom. Joining us is the executive chair, Chad Williams. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, great to be here. Always a pleasure.
A pleasure to have somebody that's a little bit more experienced, I'm going to say, in the commodities market. Now, before we dive down into kind of the macroeconomic circumstance we're living in here, Honey Badger reported its third assay results from the Plata Yukon project, and that was up to 16,887 grams per ton of silver, 67% lead, and just about 0.83% zinc. These results are pretty decent. Do you want to offer some insight on that?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're very proud of those results. As you mentioned, they come from our Plata property. We own 100% of Plata. We acquired that project about a year ago. And in our first work program, which albeit was a limited one, we got very, very, very good results. And our latest press release is the third batch of results. And I must admit to you that I'm a little puzzled that the market hasn't reacted better to those results. I mean, the stock was up a little bit, but I don't really know what's going on. I'm not sure if investors don't really understand the implications, or perhaps don't understand Plata in general. I mean, these are great results. I would put those results up against any results by any exploration company or mining company in the last 10 years. They're stellar. I couldn't ask for better assay results, quite frankly.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking on that from a stock perspective, I was looking at some of the analytics because based on the top 50 miners right now, all of their stocks are trading down, yet they're all hitting record revenue numbers. And I feel like if there's a place of value where I'm seeing a lot of tech investors shift over to the precious metal market as a hedge as well. But I feel like out of all the markets right now, the best value is clearly kind of in these commodity stocks. And on that note, with the macroeconomics, I mean, silver's booming right now. Gold is holding around that $1,900 an ounce mark. Interest rates are about to go up probably more aggressively than we could have hoped. But from the gold perspective, I mean, historically, over the last several times, interest rates have gone up over the decades. Gold's gone up 100% of the time. So it's just like the more you look at it, it's hard to be bearish on the precious metal market. But is there any insights you want to offer on that?
Sure. Let's go into that a little bit. On the non-gold side, gold is a totally different beast. Okay, so let's talk about anywhere from copper to lithium to cobalt, iron ore, even oil. These commodities are rising because of a lack of supply. There are bottlenecks everywhere. Demand is good. Demand is okay. I mean, the global economy is okay, but really the big problem is just getting the material out of the ground and getting it to the consumers. The smelters and ultimately the end buyers. The point I'm trying to make is this problem ain't going away anytime soon. There isn't a quick fix. As a person that's intimately involved in mining, we have, as an industry, we have huge people shortage problems. We have energy inflation problems. We have environmental regulatory problems. We have COVID issues. All of these are here to stay. My personal belief is these commodity prices are just getting going. We have another 10 years here. Would I be surprised if copper doubled from here? Absolutely not. I'm counting on it. I think it's going to happen. And now let's talk about gold. Gold doesn't obey traditional supply-demand characteristics because every ounce of gold ever mined is still in existence. So if you think about it, if you had 1 billion pounds of bananas, it wouldn't matter how many people ate bananas. The price of bananas would be related to some other factor, okay? Now, I was a top-ranked mining analyst for a long time. It took me a long time to figure that out. And quite frankly, I borrowed, quote unquote, borrowed a lot of this thinking from a Canadian economist who won the Nobel Prize, a guy called Robert Mundell. So if any of your listeners want to really understand gold and silver to a certain extent, because we're talking about Honey Badger and silver, I strongly recommend they read Robert Mundell. But not to digress too much, the reason gold is going to rise dramatically is because the Fed and all the other central banks are way behind schedule in terms of raising rates. A year ago, if you and I were going to have this conversation, and I would have said, hey, listen, inflation is here to stay, and inflation is going to be a big problem because of supply issues. Okay, you know, most of your investors, most anybody in the world would have said, oh, no, inflation is just temporary. It's a COVID problem. No, it's not. Okay, and so the Fed reacted slowly. It almost doesn't matter how quickly they raise rates. Okay, there's too much liquidity, and gold will continue to do well. Money will essentially lose its value. Now, the interesting things to me that I'm watching are the crypto market is really rocky here. It's got a very strong correlation to NASDAQ, for example. So, you know, for those people who think that crypto is a good store of money or protection against, you know, I don't know, whatever. I think they're waking up to the fact that perhaps crypto isn't as safe as it could be. I just think ultimately, you know, gold and silver have been around for thousands of years, and yeah, they're kind of like, you know, what Dad used to buy. But at the end of the day, they are no one's liability, and I think they'll continue to do very well. And you know, my personal prediction is silver is going to at least double, if not triple, from here. And we have been extremely busy at Honey Badger creating a company that is hopefully of high interest to investors that think silver is going higher. We're aggregating assets. We're furiously putting together a company as quickly as we can before the silver price rises, because once silver rises, the price of these assets is going to go up exponentially. Right now, we still don't have a lot of competition. We still are able to get some good deals, but that's going to end pretty quickly, I think. Nevertheless, there's a lot of good things that we did last year, and a lot of news coming, and so you know, it's going to be an exciting year for this company. And I'll just finish by saying, if you like silver, if you know, think silver, think Badger. Just I want folks to associate silver with Badger, right?
Yeah, I think you've offered some incredible anecdotes. I wouldn't mind mentioning as well, it was really intriguing last year how much people were comparing crypto to gold, but considering, I mean, it does have its own unique asset class features, but
Yeah.
the problem with it is the extreme volatility, right? And because it's so heavily leveraged in the US with a lot of these large kind of funds, tech investors that have been putting on their balance sheet now have to adjust their risk weightings, leading to that kind of similar performance to the NASDAQ. But I think it's intriguing too, because like you said, you go back a year ago and you talk to a lot of these tech investors, gold wasn't even a conversation of choice. Now those same people are actually leveraging gold to stabilize their portfolio. And we're starting to see that initial story of gold actually resonating and coming back up to the forefront of conversation. And like you said, man, it's going to probably be one of the most intriguing years to keep an eye on that, along with Honey Badger and many of these other commodity-based stocks that I think are trading at relative discounted values against what's going on here. And sooner or later, people are going to have to wake up to that. But on that note, I appreciate your time today. This has been a very insightful conversation. So thanks for your time, Chad. I really appreciate it.
Take care. Bye for now.
Pleasure. On that note, I pass the question off to you. Let me know what you guys think in that comment section below. Consider subscribing, because as the news comes out, we'll continue to get it to you down the wire here first. So stay cool, stay awesome. And as always, I look forward to catching you in the next one.